to see how you handled his money. His money. That's part of it. Settle accounts with him. And I'm going to show you in a minute that it's money. Okay, it's clear. So he who had received 5 talents came and brought 5 other talents, saying, Lord, you delivered to me 5 talents. Look, I gave 5 more talents beside him. His Lord said to him, well done, good and faithful servant. Look at me just a moment. Have you ever heard that phrase? Does everyone say, that's what I want to hear Jesus say? This is the only place it's in the Bible, and it's talking about money. The people who hear, well done, good and faithful servant, from the Lord, are the people who are good stewards. I know I'm shocking y'all. I can just hear, I can feel I just don't know about this. I do. I've studied this. He is talking about money, and the people that hear this are the good stewards. The one that, are y'all with me? This is amazing. The way you handled your money, the way you handled his money so far, is he going to say, well done, good and faithful servant? Okay. Well done, good and faithful servant. You were faithful over a few things. I'll make you ruler over many things. Enter into the joy of your Lord. He also, who had received 2 talents, came and said, Lord, you delivered me 2 talents. Look, I gave 2 more talents beside him. His Lord said to him, well done, good and faithful servant. Notice, by the way, it's not how much. It's how much according to your ability. Okay. So in other words, a person who makes a small amount can get the same well done as a person who makes a large amount, as long as you do it according to your ability. You've been faithful over a few things. I'll make you ruler over many things. Enter in the joy of the Lord. Then he who received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew you to be a hard man. My understanding of you is you're a hard man. Because a lot of people think that about God. Reaping where you're not sown and gathering where you're not scattered seed. And I was afraid. Fear is what drove him. So he was never generous, never a good steward. And I went and hid your talent. Remember, a talent is a sum of money in the ground. Look, there you have what is yours. But his Lord answered and said to him, you're a wicked and a lazy servant. This is a person who was not a good steward. You knew that I reap where I'm not sown and gather where I'm not scattered seed. So you ought to at least, or you ought to deposit it. Now watch, my money. I told you he was talking about money. This in red is Jesus. I just want y'all to know, some of you might be shocked. Jesus used the word money. And he called it his money. So you ought to have at least deposited my money with the bankers. And at my coming, a lot of good theology in here, I would have received back my own with interest. So take the talent from him and give it to him who has 10 talents. The guy will do something with it. For to everyone who has, more will be given. He will have abundance. But from him, I lost my place. And then for everyone who has will be given, he will have abundance. But for him who does not have, even what he has will be taken away. Okay, let me give you just a definition if you want one of stewardship. This is my own definition. I didn't find this in the dictionary, so there's probably a better one. But it's the management of the property of another. The management of the property of another. All right? So 3 points. One is going to build on last week. Here's number 1. I am not the owner. I am not the owner. Last week I read Psalm 24, the earth is the Lord's, fullness thereof, and all people who dwell in it. Also read Psalm 50, where he said, I own the cattle on 1,000 hills, I own the hills also. And I want to just go back to one there. Verse 12 of Psalm 50, if I were hungry, I would not tell you, for the world is mine. Okay, I just like that because of this. Here's what I think he's saying. If I were hungry, I'd eat one of my cows. Even if they're on your land. They're my cows. They're my deer. They're my fish. They're my chickens. My eggs. If I'm hungry, I want to eat one of my animals. Or one of my vegetables. You know, I'll eat my tomatoes, my cauliflower, my broccoli, mine. It's mine. It's all God's. Let me say it another way. Here's another way God might just say it. Your dog is my dog. Now some of you are thinking, well, you can have my dog. I don't know. Some of you aren't. Some of you think, no, I like that dog. And, you know, by the way, did you know one of the number one theological questions, top 5 theological questions pastors get asked, will my pet be in heaven? Did you know that? And I'll tell you, would you like the scriptural answer? Yours will, mine won't, just so you know. Mine are going to hell. That's no doubt about it. Okay. My son, Josh, used to have a demonized dog. He was demonized. There was no doubt. He named him Luke. I told him it was short for Lucifer. I told him, I said, your dog needs a priest, a cross, and some holy water. That's what you need. Okay, so. God owns it all. I showed you some scripture Old Testament. Let me show you one New Testament. 1 Corinthians 10:26. For the earth is the Lord's and all it contains. All it contains. How many of you ladies, either a ring, necklace, pendant, earring, bracelet, I don't know, how many of you ladies have a diamond? Can I see your hand? Never give? Okay. That diamond came from God's coal. The metal that you drove to church today, whether it's a Mercedes or a Chevy, it came from God's ore and his minerals. That's where that metal came from. The clothes you're wearing came from God's plants. The house you live in, the wood, the stone, the brick, every bit of it came from God's earth. If you have a pearl, it's because one of God's oysters got irritated by some sand.